Delilah. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Delilah. I am your host, Delilah. We're going to kick off tonight's special episode talking about lost loves. Our first guest joins us from Des Moines, Iowa. May I please welcome Cindy Lauper. Cindy, are you there?
Hi, yes, I'm here. Can you hear me good?
Yes, Cindy, I can hear you.
Okay, good.
Cindy, tell us what's going on.
You know, I had some love, but I lost it and stuff.
Cindy, that sounds terrible. I'm so sorry. I'm heartbroken for you.
Oh, thank you. I'm pretty heartbroken too, you know.
Cindy, get the fuck off the show.
Okay, bye.
Welcome back to Podcast in the Sky, everyone. I'm Mike Miller. This is Andrew Terbisi.
Hey.
This is Meg Muse. Hello, Meg.
Hello, baby.
And we have the biggest announcement in the world happening right now. Drum roll. That's very loud. Very too loud. Too loud. Too loud. Virgin ears. Thank you.
I just did a little bit.
Got too into it.
I don't even know your fucking last name. Welcome to the... I would like to welcome... it's just funny. This is just how I operate. Everyone that listens to the show or knows me as a person knows. I just don't know anything.
Yeah.
I would like to welcome our very good friend, Chris. Chris, please introduce yourself. Let us know how you got here, what happened, how you're here. The newest member of the Podcast in the Diamonds trio. I got the show name fucked up. I fucked the show name up. That's how. That's
the
how.
newest member of Skymans in the Die with podcasts.
The newest member of the Podcast in the Sky with Diamonds team, Chris. Hello. Chris.
Thank you for
Chris, what is
having
your last name?
My last that will be revealed in season 3.
No,
The plot thickens.
that's terribly unfortunate. I really would like to know what your last name is.
It's Cefello.
It's Christopher Robert Cefello.
Christopher Robert Savello. Thank you for being part of this journey.
Thank you.
Us.
I was almost Robert Anthony Cefello III, and I would have hated that. So
That's terrible.
glad I'm where I am now.
You don't look like a Robert.
no.
You're a Chris.
Well, I appreciate that. I think, probably.
Well, Chris is joining us. We're going to talk about it in a little bit, but we all just went to, or kicked our year off with a concert of a band that we all really love, a local band here in Boston, and they're hitting it big.
We've talked about them a lot.
Many
A lot.
times on this show. A band called Ripe.
We love them.
We love you, Ripe. We just had a wonderful, wonderful Saturday night at the House of Blues in Boston, seeing them play their hometown show. It sold out.
Hometown show.
Yes.
It was one of the most incredible concerts I've ever been to personally. And as a music fan and being a fan of this band, just seeing them sell out their home venue was just really big. And just being part of this thing and watching them grow as a band is like a huge thing. So we had a great Saturday night. Thank you, Ripe.
It's been such a treat to see them blow up the way that they have.
So actually all 4 of us were there, and that's actually where I met Chris. Very similar to how I met Andrew right before we started this podcast. I met Chris through Meg. And I touched Chris's face within the first 5 minutes of meeting him.
It was really nice. I liked it a lot.
I had a little alcohol in my system, not going to lie to you.
A little bit.
You have a beautiful face. I mean, I would
He
touch
does.
your face sober. That's how beautiful your face is.
Yes.
So kind.
But there's going to be a lot more face touching. Don't worry.
Wow.
You better lawyer up.
Hey, that's
all
that's a street that goes both ways, my friend.
Okay.
You may not remember this.
I already like this.
This is good.
You
This
may
is
not
good.
remember this, but last night when I first met you, you did the whole thing where you touched my head.
This was last night?
Two nights ago.
The other
Whenever,
night, Saturday
man,
night.
I tell you, after that concert, I didn't know which way was up and which time was right, but
Yeah, I don't remember about half of it. I'm not going to lie to you.
I looked you in the eyes and I said, I've heard that when you're drunk, you get really affectionate. Well, looky here, buddy. You've met your match.
Yes. I remember being around that conversation, hearing it go down.
And then we almost
Looky
kissed.
here.
We were very close to kissing on the lips, and I've never done that with a stranger before. So, right here. So, Chris has just agreed. Chris came here on a whim tonight. Was just going to kind of visit us because we all had a great Saturday night together.
I was in the area breaking knees.
And we were just dicking. we were just dicking around here in the studio as we usually do before we record an episode. And I just said, fuck it, Chris is joining the show, and he said yes, and
We all agreed, and it was wonderful, and something magical happened.
so more great times to come, Chris. Welcome aboard. This is going to be fun.
Thank you very
The
much.
trio
I'm
has
thrilled.
now become a
Foursome.
Quadro.
quadro, and it's going to be a good time.
We love it.
So this is, I think, the official season 2.
This is
the actual
the official season 2
season
episode.
2 opener.
Welcome to all of you that have stayed with us for so long, both in the U.S. and outside of the U.S., because, fun fact, we are an internationally known podcast.
It's true. We have a handful of listeners beyond our borders.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Egypt.
And Spain, and the U.K., and Sweden, and a few others that I can't remember off the top of my head.
But if you are one of those people and follow us on various socials, just fucking leave a comment on the next thing we post and be like, hey, I'm the guy from this country that's not your country.
Yes. Also, apologize if you can hear the vacuum guy outside. They're currently cleaning the office that we record in.
I just made very intimate eye contact with Vacuum Guy, and
You think
I think
Vacuum Guy is going to be
I-
the next part of our show?
I know I just sort of signed up for the long haul here, but I think I might go put a ring on his finger.
Oh,
I'm liking his vibe.
okay.
Intimate eye contact. I
You're
love it.
really liking the way he sucks? Is that, if I'm reading between the lines here?
Yes.
Wow.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Full stop.
That's an X-rated podcast right there.
Yeah, it's that kind of podcast tonight, folks.
So, Meg, what do we got going on tonight?
Okay, so we're going to talk about a few things tonight.
Few
It's going to be a jack of all trades kind of episode. We're going to start off by a ripe recap, which is, as always, wholesome as ever. And then we're going to go into covering the Grammys.
The Grammys.
We're recording on the 11th. The Grammys were last night, Sunday, February 10th. I didn't watch it. I watched
didn't
some of
either.
it, and then they cut off the live stream right when it was getting good. And then we're going to talk about somebody very important that we're going to have on the show
Future
in
guests.
a few weeks, future guests. 2 future guests, actually, and we're going to recap their music a little bit because Mike and Andrew have both gotten into them since I introduced them. And we're going to have a lot of fun. So
Mm-hmm.
sit tight.
So I think we should have, before we get started here, a quick initiation for Chris because he's just joining.
Love
So,
hazing.
Chris, I'm going to need you to take out a razor blade.
Yeah.
I'm just going to need you to make a small incision to your index finger
Yeah.
and then draw the sign of the cross on my forehead.
Mm-hmm. Upside down or right side up?
Upside down, for sure.
Okay. Good. Good.
Hail Satan. And then
Hail ye.
we're just going to leave for about a half hour, and then that should be part of the initiation.
That'll be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That'll be good.
We just I need to have a stern talking with you.
You need to sing the entirety of Justin Timberlake's discography in the nude afterwards when
Okay.
we're out there.
Yeah.
All right.
And,
I can do the nude. I can't promise anything about JT.
Oh.
Oh.
But we like
Oh.
Prerequisite for this podcast. Let me just start by saying that. Prerequisite, you need to know every single Justin Timberlake song ever.
What if
That's
I'm
just-
really good at being nude?
I could make an exception for that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought
There's some sparks flying across the table.
sparks are
ladies and
flying.
gentlemen.
Sparks are flying.
So yeah, we went and saw Ripe
we did.
the other night on a Saturday night. I had an interaction with the lead singer Robbie that I don't really remember,
But Chris remembers.
but Chris
In
remembers.
stark detail. Lucid.
Regale us with this epic yarn.
Well, I mean, before we get into that, though, I do want to say that Robbie from Ripe is one of the nicest individuals I've ever met in my life.
Yes,
He's very cool.
So
he's
I,
amazing.
Last summer I got into Ripe. They came up on my Discover Weekly on Spotify. It was Downward came up on my Discover Weekly,
What a bop.
and great bop. And I messaged my buddy, and I was like, "Dude, check this band out." And he was like, "In." And then he was like, "I wonder if they're touring." And we looked him up, and they were touring. They were on a little small run of shows. And part of the run, they were doing a 2-night stand at the Ocean Mist Bar in Rhode Island, and which we've told this story a couple times. But Andrew was there night 2, and I went night 1 with
but
my
Chris
buddy.
was also there night 2. We
You were
went
there.
together
I was
on
there.
for
Okay.
night 2 with
This
our
is
friend
weird.
Allie.
This is weird. Sparks are flying. So I went and I showed up way too early. I think was that a Friday night? Night
That
1? Did you guys go Saturday night?
We went to the Saturday night show.
Yeah. So I must have gone on a Friday night, and it was after work, and I got there way too early. The show didn't start until like 10.
Yeah, the show started wicked late.
Like
that
the
weekend.
opening bands didn't go on until 10. Like
Wow.
I don't think Ripe took the stage till like midnight. and I drove home after the show, questionably. So I was there at like 6 p.m. and I got a beer at the bar, and I had just gotten in there. There were like the regular dinner crowd was in there, and fucking Ripe was warming up. They were doing their sound check. So we heard two Ripe songs in sound check, full all the way through. They sound check 2 full songs. It was awesome. And you remember Ocean Mist Bar? It's fucking like it's a tiny little. It's like a bar. It's literally like a dive bar, and they just have this tiny little stage in there, and so they sound checked, and then they all came up and were eating at the bar. They like got burgers and fries and shit. And they were eating. And then Robbie like had walked over to the merch table, and I walked over there, and I was like, "Hey, I'm Mike. Like, I just wanted to say I literally just got into you guys like 2 weeks ago. Like, I love your music. I was like, I just think it's so cool. You guys' story. You're from Boston, and it's just really cool to be able to walk up to you and meet you." And he was like, "Thanks so much for the support and everything." It's just I stood with him for about 20 minutes. Just a really, really nice guy. And every time I've interacted with him, when we went out to see Ripe in Northampton
That was
back
our
in
first show that we all went together to, by the way.
Back
it
in
was
October.
An iconic moment.
Yeah. So when we saw them in October, he must do this at all of his shows, but all of the shows I've been to, he walks out into the crowd during the opening bands and is just talking with people.
Yeah, he just fucking hangs out with everybody in the crowd.
He was
It's
doing that this
incredible.
weekend.
The other night, he was hanging out by the sound booth, just chit-chatting with his fans. Like, that is fucking so cool.
Yeah.
He just stands around, so just any old brigand.
Stop
can
looking
approach
at me
him.
like that.
Okay, so get into this story about. I just wanted to say,
Yes.
Robbie, shout out to him. He's fucking the nicest
We
guy.
love you.
Elate us with the details, Chris.
So, I eventually show up at the venue after having forgotten my ticket,
Yep.
as I am wont to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I walk in, and I initially don't even make it onto the floor because I'm an idiot and I don't know how concert venues work. But eventually I do, and I see Meg in all her glory. I may have been her downfall after one might say poisoning her vodka cranberry with just a hearty helping of wine.
Yikes.
It was pretty good, actually. I mean, I don't have any taste, but
Yes, he thought it was a good idea while we were still in the hotel room to mix our vodka cranberries with red wine. And I was like, fuck yeah, that sounds great. And I was drunk before we left the hotel lobby. So let's just
You gotta love it.
full disclosure.
so we walk up, and Meg turns to me and she's like, "Hey, that's Robbie. Robbie's right there." I was like, "Oh shit!" And in my head, I was like, I've always thought about what it would be like to meet a even moderately famous person, and how I know in that moment you don't know what to say.
Nope.
That's true. I looked at him and I was like, I'm not even gonna look at him because I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do here. Meg was not so discerning. Meg turned to me and again said, "It's Robbie." And Robbie heard. So Robbie turned. He was like, "Yeah?" And she was like, I'm really drunk, so this probably isn't going to go very well. But I'm Meg." And he was like, "Uh-huh." And she was like, "High five." And he gave her a high five, and they fucked it up the
It was
first time.
so terrible the first
Oh,
time
no.
The
around.
second one was tight.
Oh man,
It was thunderous.
No, the second time we were like, fuck it, let's do it again. We did the second high five. It was awesome. That's the only part of the interaction that I remember.
And that was that. It was a clean break.
It was a clean break.
All things considered, it did go pretty well.
I left him alone. We had our little moment. It was wonderful. I hope he remembers the drunk girl Meg as the one who had to give him 2 high fives.
I'll be honest with you. I don't think he will.
I hope so. Because that's not the first time I've interacted with him while under the influence of alcohol. I also pretty much did the same thing in Northampton. So
DM him on the socials and be like, "Hey, it's me, Meg, the drunk girl who gave you 2 high fives."
yeah, so this has basically happened 2 out of 2 times that I've interacted with
Batting
Robbie.
100.
You're batting 1,000, batting 1,000, batting
That
100.
I went
I
up
don't
to
even
him.
watch sports, and I know that.
But to be fair,
Batting 100.
when the opener for Ripe in Northampton was Los Elk, they're another local Boston band.
Mm-hmm.
I went up to their lead singer Amir, who was dressed up as Sting, who I was dancing with.
Slash, you mean?
Whatever slash
Sting and Slash are very
I
different
don't know.
people.
Sting
Meg.
and Slash, the only
Please.
commonality they have is their nicknames both begin with S.
Yeah, one of them they play totally different instruments from totally different genres of music.
All right.
Meg, the Police and Guns N' Roses are nothing alike.
Oh, fuck.
Sting wrote one of the greatest songs of all time, Desert Rose. And if you don't like that fucking song, get the fuck out of
I'm
the studio.
so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, he was dressed up as Slash. We
Thank
danced
you.
in the crowd. Afterwards, I went up to him and was like, I'm really drunk. Let's see how this goes. And he was like, me too. And that's when we talked and like swapped Instagrams and stuff. So like now me and Amir are kind of friends. So that went pretty well. So I can't complain. Drunk Meg does a pretty good job when talking to rock stars.
Amir, another great guy.
He's
Another just really nice, personable
Local
guy.
guy, good
We'll
guy.
talk to you. Good guy, local guy.
Good guy, local guy.
We'll just talk to you. They're really nice dudes,
Yeah.
and I think that says a lot about the band's music. It's
Yes.
really approachable, and anyone that listens to Ripe or Los Elk will feel that in their music, and they're just as good of people as they are as musicians. So
Yes. And the
Very awesome.
opener for Ripe this time around were Magic Giant.
Harsh Armadillo too. Is no one talking about that?
Harsh
Yeah,
Armadillo.
they were
I
really good.
I knew it was something armadillo.
Drunk Meg went up to their keyboardist, by the way, because he was wearing a banana shirt, and she went, "Nice fucking banana shirt, guy." And he went,
Did you say
Thanks,
those words
bro.
exactly?
pretty much. And
Nice.
then he was like, "Here's our email," because I was like, "I run a podcast," and he was like, "That's dope. Here's our email. Email us." And then also clean break. So Drunk Meg isn't too bad. But they were pretty
You
sick.
just get shit done. You're very efficient. You're
Read
just like
social
Yep.
cues.
you're just
Yep.
like, hey, listen, I'm drunk.
But this is what I want. I run a
Here is the
podcast.
situation, I expect a response.
I want the email from podcast.
I am drunk, but I want to do business with you.
and they're always like, "I
I'm drunk.
respect it.
Let's do business.
Here's our info," and it works. I don't know how it does, but it works. So I have their information.
Well, Meg, I can tell you why. It's because you are a female who is cute. If I can almost guarantee you, if any of us wandered up to one of these bands and was like, "I'm drunk, let's get shit done," they'd probably fucking call security.
Okay, so probably. But I didn't get to. I didn't get the chance to talk to anybody from Magic Giant, but I was listening to their music the day afterwards when I was super duper hungover. I really fuck with their vibe a lot.
They reminded me of American authors. I shouldn't say that. Their music doesn't really sound like American authors, but if you've seen American authors in concert, very, very similar
vibe is
vibe. Very
similar.
upbeat. And
Mhm.
I got a lot
Yeah.
of Dylan-y vibes from them, but I don't know if
Oh,
it's just because
yeah.
I saw like a dude with curly hair playing a harmonica and it
And
stringed
they were
instrument
like,
at the same time.
he was fucking shit up on the fiddle too.
His
Like-
bow was completely
Oh my
destroyed.
god, yeah. And then they went into the crowd, and
he
it was
played the banjo, that guy? Like, that
He
guy
Yeah.
he played the
versatile.
banjo and the mandolin, so he played like 3 different instruments
Now
over
I-
the course of that set.
I
Yeah.
didn't know those things because that's where my liver started to clock out for the day.
My liver was just like, yeah, I'm going home.
Like,
Bye,
all right,
guys. We'll see you
body,
later."
you can deal with this straight up.
I'm clocking out for the night. I hit that OT for the week, you know. Don't let the union bust in my ass, you know.
Yeah. Magic Giant though, they're so incredible. Like I love their music, and I was listening to them on Spotify. They're Spotify verified, so they're pretty legit, and they're really, really good. The one moment I want to talk about from the Ripe show is I don't remember how far into the set, but
It was
Andrew
the
says it's
middle of
about
their
halfway
set,
through.
like, ish. It was like in between songs, or maybe like right before they were gonna start a song. Like
Mhm.
the crowd just started fucking cheering and like hooping
Losing
and
their
hollering,
fucking minds.
like to a point where it was like being there in the crowd while also hooping and hollering. It was just like almost deafeningly loud, in like
Yes.
the best way. And you could just see the expression on each of the band members' faces as they kind of like looked at each other, because there was like the moment of like, holy shit, this is happening kind of thing. And it was just like incredibly pure and wholesome to watch them have the look of like, oh shit, like this is like a legit like we've made it moment
Like
for this band.
yeah, as a fan, seeing some of your favorite musicians share that like holy fuck, like we've done it, like we can't believe this is happening moment, and like that pure joy in their face, I teared up a little bit because
I love moments like that.
it
at
was
concerts.
so beautiful. Because I'm the terrible person. I don't remember the lead guitarist's name, but him and Robbie I remember so vividly. No
Well-
matter how
well, they're
drunk
two-
I was,
I don't think they have like a set lead guitar.
he has long dark hair,
Josh.
maybe.
Josh
He
Pe-
was
Josh
to the,
Beck.
he was to the right of him,
Not Josh Peck. I think it's.
right.
Is it John or
I'm
Josh?
terrible.
He was
Fuck.
to the
I'm
right of
making a fool
Robbie on the
myself the air.
stage. But like I
gonna look
remember
it up.
so vividly the look that they shared together, and it was probably one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen.
Let me look it up because I don't.
What do you think is the
remember.
most beautiful thing you've ever seen?
Ever?
Obviously, your face
Oh.
after a long night of
John
doing
John
debauchers?
Becker.
It was
John Becker.
okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
Robbie and John shared this look that
I'm
was
so
like
sorry,
the
John.
most beautiful thing. The most beautiful thing I ever saw was Paul McCartney and Let It Be live, and seeing everybody just like completely go silent. That was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
I will say this. I think one of my favorite concert moments, and I've had a few that have really stuck with me. This past summer, I saw Pearl Jam at Fenway Park,
Sick.
and
Fuck, I wish I could have.
Eddie Vedder, towards the end of the set, walked. It was at the so if you've ever seen Pearl Jam, they have 2 intermissions at their show. They just play forever. And at the end of the second intermission, Eddie Vedder walked out onto the stage, and please fact check me on this. But he walked out on the stage with this bright red guitar and sat down on the amp at the front of the stage, and they gave him a microphone, and he had tears in his eyes, and it was Tom Petty's guitar. And he said, Tom Petty gave me this guitar, and I'm going to play a song for you. And he did, I think he did Won't Back Down.
Amazing.
I need to
fact check it.
I'm sorry.
No, fact check it. Facts are important.
Please do. That's beautiful.
me the car
That's a
facts.
beautiful moment.
Yeah, it was I Won't Back Down. Sorry, I just had to because I've also seen other artists cover "Learning to Fly" by Tom Petty. I've seen out of
that's a
all the
great
songs
song.
I've seen covered by bands, "Learning to Fly" is the very top,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is surprising. I never thought that would be the number
feel
one
like
song that I've
For
seen
me,
covered.
I feel like whenever I see a Tom Petty cover, it's like American Girl. Because I remember it was like the year of Tom Petty's passing. I was at a show at New Year's Eve down at the Met in Pawtucket, and a really cool local band, The Silks, was playing like fucking just like all night. It was past midnight at this point, so it was officially 2018, I think.
Yeah,
It was officially the start of the new year, whatever fucking year
Petty
it was.
died in 17. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So then it
October.
was the start of 2018, and they're like, "You guys want to fucking rock out for Tom Petty in the new year?" And everyone in this little bar is like, "Yeah," and they just bust out a cover like American Girl. It was really good. I was
Yeah.
also very
I
drunk.
feel like it's
but
either American Girl or Free Fallin', because John Mayer did that like iconic cover of Free Fallin' that I
Yeah.
have saved on my Spotify.
Yeah. John Mayer, last time I saw or one of the last times I saw John Mayer, he did, it was when Chuck Berry died. He did Johnny Be Good.
Nice.
He did it with John Mayer Trio, which was even better because at John Mayer's last tour, he did a Mayer set, a John Mayer Trio. He did John Mayer acoustic, so he did Free Fallin' or whatever. Then he did John Mayer Trio. Amazing. And then he did his pop set. It was
That's
fucking
sick.
dope.
That's sick.
Another from that same Pearl Jam concert though. Have you guys heard of the band Buffalo Tom? They're
Yes.
a Boston band.
I think so.
Yes.
Okay,
Sound
they're a
familiar.
rock band. They've been around forever, and oh my god, I get chills thinking about it because I was like freaking out when it happened because I love Buffalo Tom. I saw them at Boston Calling a couple years ago. Like I fucking love them. Eddie Vedder brings out the fucking lead singer of Buffalo Tom, and they do a Buffalo Tom song together. It was fucking. I was screaming the lyrics to this. It's my favorite Buffalo Tom song. I was screaming the lyrics, and everyone is looking at me like, this kid is, what the fuck? No one knew who, like, no one that was there, or in my section at least, it seemed like, didn't know who the guy was, and I was literally losing my goddamn mind. It was like it was meant for me. It was just fun. It was really cool. Yeah, I've had some really cool concert moments.
Yeah,
you
I
know,
think
like
we all
that.
have. We all
Oh,
have
yeah.
those moments. I'm going to we'll talk about them a little later on, but I'm seeing Del Water Gap tomorrow night at Great Scott in Alsted.
Great Scott.
Very excited. I lost, first of all, the lead singer of that band, Holden. He's incredible because I ordered my tickets about 3.5 weeks ago. They never came in the mail. And I, like an idiot, didn't get the insurance for the tickets because no such
Meg.
thing has ever happened to me before. So I tweeted at them today, and I was like, I'm really fucking stressed, but I'm fully prepared to be on hold and, like, complain to the ticket company about the fact that, like, for whatever reason, they didn't send it to the right place. And they said just to shoot them an email, and they would hold someone will call for me so I could still get in. And that is really fucking nice to be like, I want all of my fans to be at my show, so I'm going to make sure they're going to be at my show no matter what.
That's
So
fucking awesome.
Rad
that
as
was
fuck.
really cool. I love you, Holden. I'll talk about you a little bit later.
That's fucking awesome.
Yes.
Did want to bring up, since we were just on the topic of covers, that amazing cover of "Don't Stop"
Yes.
the other night. So
yes.
Ripe cover. That was okay. So that takes the cake for the most interesting cover I've ever seen done. I
would never have thought funk and Fleetwood Mac in the same sentence, yet here we are.
But Ripe did a funk cover of "Don't Stop" by Fleetwood Mac. It was amazing. Like, I feel like there wasn't a big population at that show that knew that song.
Yes.
Well,
What
it was-
what part of the set? Was
Yeah,
that?
That was
didn't-
like towards like
Christy-
It was towards the
towards-ish
beginning.
The beginning.
It was like a third of the way through the show.
All right.
It was for me. It was one of those things like I couldn't place it because like of like the different instrumental arrangement they used, but I knew the lyrics. I'm singing like okay. Then when the chorus is, I'm like, don't stop. And then in my head, I'm like, it's Fleetwood Mac.
I was freaking out as soon as they started playing because I knew right away.
I couldn't I knew the lyrics, but it was just like my mind just couldn't think who the fuck sings the song. Like part of me is like, I know this song, but it's part of my mind was like is like the Doobie Brothers. I'm like, what's not the Doobie Brothers? I'm like,
That song is just so upbeat, and
Yeah.
it's such a happy song. It's
Mhm.
like it made sense for them to play that
To do
song.
it, yeah.
Like it's just fucking really cool. And then I lost my debit card the other night, so I had to leave the show early to go try to find that, and I missed their cover of "Drops of Jupiter" by Train, and I'm really mad.
that was a
I
very
used to be-
fun cover.
I used to be a hardcore Train fan. When
I can
was,
see
when I was
that.
in high school, growing
I
up
can
and
see
everything.
that.
Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
followed them around and shit. I was a huge Train groupie. I sang. So listen to this. You know 104.5 XLO in Worcester,
I
the
sure
radio
do.
station. Okay, so 104.5 XLO has been doing this thing for years, for like 10, 15 years. It's called XLO's Acoustic Christmas. And they have a big band come in and do an acoustic set at Mechanics Hall, which is a really famous venue.
I had my prom there.
So Mechanics Hall, that was gonna take a quick rabbit hole side note. They have behind the stage, they have on one side a picture of George Washington, like giant, like 20-foot framed picture of George painting.
Mm-hmm.
The other side's Abraham Lincoln. Well, the one of George Washington has a fucking camel toe, and it is the funniest thing. Like people were taking pictures of it, and the fucking Train pointed it out. They were like, "We just want to thank," or no, it was the guy from Bare Naked Ladies,
Oh my god.
the guy that sings on 1 week. Is it 1 week? What's that song?
It's been 1 week since you looked at me.
Yeah, that song. So the guy that sings on that track, he was one of the artists that played it, but he was with a band, so it wasn't Bare Naked Ladies. It was just him solo, like something Page, Dan Page or something like that. So he pointed it out that fucking George Washington had a camel toe. It was funny. Anyways, I saw Train at that, and that was when Train like just made their comeback, and they did the Save Me San Francisco album, and they did the tour with John Mayer that summer. A big year for them.
I remember.
So he comes into the crowd, the lead singer Pat, he comes into the crowd, sings "Marry Me." You know their song "Marry Me"?
Yes.
Oh my God, beautiful song.
It's a great song.
Comes in, and this dude, so he looks great on stage and everything. He's literally like your height, Meg.
No way.
He's literally your height. He
That's
is
a
the small
short dude.
He is the smallest man.
I'm 5'1".
And this was when I was a junior in high school. I was towering over him, and it looked hilarious. He came up to me and put his arm around me, like up here, and was like, we were singing "Marry Me" together.
Oh my god.
It was so fucking cool.
How
and
have I never heard this story?
And this was like when flip phones were still a thing. So like
Fuck.
I don't have a video of it, but it was like it was really cool.
That's so dope.
I've had a
dude.
couple moments where I've gotten to sing at shows.
Yeah, no, that's fucking
So.
sick. All right, so Ripe was dope.
Sorry, rabbit hole there. I'm sorry about
The
that.
Grammys were last night.
Yes.
So
Which none of us really watched.
none of us really watched. I tried to watch it.
My
tried.
full intention is always there every year, and then something comes up and I don't.
Yeah. So
I was gonna.
It-
I played Destiny instead.
so the Grammys seemed like it was a little weird
Mm-hmm.
last night. I feel like Drake got cut off for his whole "fuck the Grammy" speech after he won one. Cardi B won Best Rap Album of the Year, which is also, I think, a little strange. I mean, good for her, because I think as a persona and as an individual, she's really cool. I think as a musician, Travis Scott should have beat her out. But
Astroworld was good.
I mean,
But
what?
I think there are better albums out there.
Good with like 500 U's.
Good. Yeah, a lot of
It's
umlauts
good.
there.
Okay,
Yes.
Astroworld was at least better than Cardi B's album.
I don't know. I'm gonna stick up for Cardi B. I think
I like her as a person.
I think she is. It really says something about the narrative that's changing in music. That that a woman in 2019 can go out and win best rap album in a very male dominated fucking
Yeah.
genre.
Okay. Yeah.
Huge
It is
win
huge.
for feminists, for women. I even though I am not a rap fan, I think it's fucking cool what she's doing. She's calling out politicians on Twitter.
She is.
She was in
That's
that
pretty tight.
hilarious fucking commercial with Steve Carell. She's a
Yep.
very well-rounded human being
She
right now.
is.
Despite her whatever your feelings are on her. She's a mega celebrity right now.
No, she is.
And she's
has
got
a
this
great
incredible power right now to stand up for what's going on in the world with women right now. And hot seat Cardi B, like she's in a very good spot right now to really do some big things. And I think doing that is a huge win for women. So
This will certainly
I'm
open
in all
a lot of
support.
doors for
I'm in
her.
all support of it.
No, I think she's great. I'm looking at it from more of like a musicianship point of view. I think there were
Like I said, I can look at it from a social point of view. I don't listen to rap music. I just don't do it.
I do every now and again.
That's most of what I listen to.
Yeah.
That's why you round out our group, Chris.
Exactly. But I like Cardi B as a person, and I think from the social perspective, like you just said, that it's a huge move, and I'm really proud of her for being like, fuck you to everybody else in the rap and hip hop genre. And then Drake got cut off by the producers of the Grammys for going on his whole rant about how you don't need these awards to validate yourself as a musician or be considered one of the greater musicians.
It's very true. You don't, it's an art thing.
Yeah,
You don't
no,
need
it
an
absolutely
award.
is.
I'm pretty sure that it was Vincent van Gogh who posthumously really got recognized.
Yeah, it wasn't until after he died that he became big.
And I'm sure that, if he had been alive for when he became super famous and everybody appreciated his artwork, he would have been thrilled.
Mm.
But, he produced all of this incredible artwork and he never got any rewards for it.
Until
And
after he
it's
died.
Still pretty goddamn good.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows what Starry Night is, right?
That said,
Yes.
if I could hold just a real heavy golden statue, I sure would.
That's true.
I would like that.
I would like that. I'm just looking at like a Rolling Stone article for like the best versus the worst. They kind of swap off. They talk about Lady Gaga, which she always does an incredible job, whatever she fucking does, 'cause
Mhm.
she's a goddess. They call Alicia Keys the cool aunt of the Grammys, which
Well, she hosted, right?
Yes.
yes, she did.
She was the hostess with, I guess, the cool aunt mostest.
Yep. Yeah. And I think she did a set of songs that she wished that she wrote. I wasn't able to watch the full video before I went to work this morning, but that was a thing.
I wanted to look that up earlier, so I'm going to do it now. You keep talking. I wanted to look up the list of the list of songs she did.
She did a Kings of Leon song.
Oh fuck yeah! Alicia Keys, my girl.
Let's see what else do we
Dude,
got here.
I just typed what songs,
Oh.
and the first option was what songs did Alicia Keys play last night.
Yep.
It's because Google's listening to us.
Another one of the best from Rolling Stone was Drake treats the Grammys like one of his exes, which is like one of the best things I've
That
ever
Rolling
written in my
Stone
life.
writer is spitting some fucking
Fuck,
fire.
it's so funny. Which is true. Like I'll reiterate, he basically was like, if people are coming out to see your shows, no matter what the weather conditions or how much money it is, like you've made it. Like you're still an artist because you're still impacting these people's lives. Which I think is true because I have been going on these rants as of recently where like the music industry has become this sort of watered down, like it's all about the celebrity versus about the artistry and the musicianship, which is something.
Well, yeah, I mean that's why, as like radio friendly people, there are no like modern pop bands. They're pop artists.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot easier to market an artist because that's just one person. And then I feel like I've went on this rant before. I'm gonna go on it again.
Please.
So like when you have like a band, if say like let's take like a rock band, like I don't know, we'll take Led Zeppelin for an example. So say like Led Zeppelin was around today, they're immensely popular, like T Swift levels of popular, whatever in this weird hypothetical universe. And then there's some drama in the band where like the band is gonna go on hiatus, but modern record companies don't want that because these people are making money. Whereas if you have an artist and they're having drama in their backing band or whatever, then they don't fucking care. They'll fire the guitarist that no one knows the name to and just replace him with some other schmuck who would happily go on tour with Taylor Swift to make some money.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot easier for record execs and companies to market artists because it's just this one person. You're not marketing the whole band, because if something happens with the band, they could literally fire the entire band and bring in other people, and literally no one would know. No one.
Yeah. I mean, and also just to put into perspective how like watered down the music industry have got. You know who didn't show up to the Grammys last night? Rihanna, Jay-Z, Childish Gambino, Taylor Swift, Ed Sheeran, Kanye West. None of these people went to the Grammys last
They
night.
got better things to do.
I feel
Was Ariana Grande there? Because
No.
No.
she wasn't there either. Yeah.
She wasn't there either. Yeah, all of these huge people. And Childish Gambino won 2 awards last night. He won what? Best
He won
album of the year
he
and
won
then
album of the
song
year.
of the year.
singly or
Record
song
of the year.
Yeah,
He
which
won Song of the Year and Record of the Year.
which is huge. I mean, This Is America was, I think, groundbreaking.
Oh yeah, it's
Um,
a crazy concept album.
yeah, and his music video is insane. The whole play into politics and what's happening in our country now is insane. So I knew that he was going to win it anyway. But like the fact that none of those people were there says a lot about the Grammys as a whole.
I mean,
Yeah.
also it says a lot about the Grammys when like they didn't even televise who like the whole rock album thing, because
Nope.
that's like for them it doesn't sell as good, doesn't get as good ratings.
Which is fucked up. Like you should appreciate all genres of music across the board. Like
Yeah, they
I
also
don't-
then in their memoriam thing, which is something I've always hated the Grammys for, is they never shine the light. Well, they sometimes shine the light on rock, but never on the more heavier stuff. So, as you know, in the past year, Vinnie Paul, the original drummer from Pantera, passed away, who was, the brother of Dimebag Darrell, the famous guitarist, who passed away from getting shot on stage
Oh.
from Pantera, which is why the band stopped being the band, because, he literally got shot in the middle of a set. So he passed away, and he wasn't even in the memoriam, and he's arguably part of one of the most famous newer metal bands ever. So, because, if you talk to, like, any metalhead, they'll know who Pantera is. But so like they didn't even include him in the memoriam. This has happened other times, in, like famous like harder rock or metal musicians that passed away. It's like nothing happened. Like when Lemmy Kilmister passed away from Motorhead, they didn't mention him in the Grammys or anything. It's like, so that's one of those things in those communities. They don't really care for these awards either, because they kind of ignore them. But those communities also have better things to do than worry about who's winning a Grammy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Grammys are pretty washed up at this point.
You
Like,
do also have to remember at one point they gave an award to Jethro Tull over Metallica for best rock album.
I said,
I'm not kidding.
The Grammys have been building up, I think, over the past few years since Kanye did that. I'm gonna let you finish, but was that at the Grammys or was that the MTV Music Awards?
That was
I don't know.
MTV.
There
That
are
was the
so many
MTV
different-
Awards.
Anyway, the music awards.
Country music alone has
general.
4 award shows. 4.
Yeah.
4. 3 or 4.
There's
Fact
more
check
than just
that.
the CMTs?
Yeah,
I'm
I guess.
I'm like
There's
yelling.
There's
I'm
the
like-
CMTs, there's the AMCs. Or no, that's
The ACMs.
AC
Isn't that the theater brand?
The CMAs.
so that's 3.
There's a 4th one. There's got to be a 4th one.
I don't know.
I've been yelling fact check that this
Mhm.
entire episode. Like we have this admin that can just fucking fact check.
It's just Andrew.
It's just
Me.
It's just Andrew.
I gotta get one of those little
if
desk
anyone's
placards that
if
just
anyone's
says
looking
fact
for an
checker.
unpaid job,
And wants to
we'll
sit
let
here
you
and
sit in
check
on
our
our
Wanna hang
episode
out
and
with
take
us.
notes.
Yeah.
Can have the Doritos in Meg's bag.
I'll just yell
Yeah.
fact check that at you.
The last thing about the Grammys that I was excited for and apparently flopped was Post Malone with the Red Hot Chili Peppers, which I guess he kind of just like rushed through his 2 songs from his own set that he was supposed to do just so he could like jump in with the Red Hot Chili Peppers. For like Post Malone, I think that makes sense because he is a musician and also like a super fan, like we were talking about before we even started recording, how Dave Grohl is a musician and also like a super fan. But I guess it wasn't as astounding as everybody hoped it would be.
Well,
But it's okay.
Oh, shit.
It's
so,
a combination.
I still love Posty.
so I looked it up
Posty baloney.
for the Jethro Tull thing, because this I think is really fascinating. So this was the year like Metallica released their like incredible album like Injustice for All, which has like 1 on it and like a bunch of that's like a seminal metal album. And then
Word.
Jethro Tull won on like an album that was like very like folky and like had like flute solos on it for best hard rock album. And it was just like other nominees that year was like Alice in Chains or Iggy Pop and Jane's Addiction were the other 2 people for like up for best hard rock metal album. And then Jethro Tull won.
I love flute Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Ron Burgundy would be very mad at you.
No, like don't
if
get
you
me
found
wrong.
out you just put down flute solo.
I'm not putting down the flute solo.
Hey,
but when
everybody,
you're
would you like to hear Mr. Burgundy play the Yaz flute? Aqualung! Fucking love Anchorman.
But that's just
Sorry.
the thing, though, is like when you're putting that in the category for hard rock and heavy metal against Metallica and Jane's Addiction and Iggy Pop, the founder of the entire punk rock movement, and then Jethro Tull on a fucking flute solo wins that. That's it's like the fuck, it's crazy. Anyway, rant over.
There's
Back to as we were.
The music industry is
Cardigan Backyardigan winning awards.
Cardigan Backyardigan. Oh my god.
Welcome to Backyardigans Fancast.
Cardi B, for whatever reason, if you listen to this show, I'm sorry.
Other than that, what we have going on to start moving away from the Grammy so I don't continue on like this ridiculous 4-hour long rant about the music industry. We're going to have a really big artist coming up for an interview
Yes.
on the show next Monday, SUSTO. I've talked about them before. For those of you who don't know, Justin Osborne, the lead singer and musician in that band, is going to interview with us via phone call within the next week, and I am very excited. Mike just recently started listening to them as well, and Andrew was listening to them today too, just so that we can start getting into the SUSTO groove.
Like a good boy.
Yeah.
I'm all in on SUSTO.
Yeah, SUSTO was also interviewed by Rolling Stone magazine, and they have over millions.
This is as close to
listeners.
fame as we'll ever get.
Yeah.
I think
The closest we'll ever get so far.
I think we will be like those guys in high school that really peaked. That'll be kind of like as high as almost famous as we get.
Yes, Almost Famous, which is also one of the best movies of all time.
Shout out.
Yeah.
I've
Penny
had,
Lane.
2 bands like my comments on Instagram, so I'm sort of flying too close to the sun already.
You're
I feel
getting
that.
there.
I mean, I know Vacationer likes our comments all the time. We comment on their shit.
That made my day.
We gotta get in with them somehow.
Yeah, so SUSTO's going to come on. I've been in contact with them over the past few weeks. They're really excited to come and chat with us. Justin's a fucking phenomenal musician and a phenomenal guy. They got a bunch of albums out that you can stream pretty much
Anywhere.
wherever.
Chilling on the beach with my best friend, Jesus Christ.
That's a fucking bop. So
Best friends.
they're from Charleston, South Carolina. They're kind of like an indie rock / alternative folk band. Google says alternative country, but I agree with the alternative folk genre.
Interesting.
A little
I'm in.
more. Yeah, so if you're interested afterwards, they're actually coming to Alston on April 17th. I will absolutely fucking be there without a doubt. I bought the tickets the day that they went on sale
The day.
because I've been super into SUSTO since I first found them on my Discover Weekly over a year ago. They have 6 total albums. One of them is like their self-entitled album. They did an album where they were live from the Australian Music Hall of Fame, Country Music Hall of Fame, to which they won Best Album of the Year in 2014.
Hey.
How long have they been around?
2011, or maybe is that Del Water Gap? Early 2010s.
Let me do my job. Let's
Yeah, do your job.
Okay.
Um,
According
2014.
according to Wikipedia, 2013 to present.
Oh.
Okay, so they've
Seem
been around
close.
since 2013. Del Water Gap has been around since 2011, but we'll talk about Del Water.
Americana's
later on.
is a good
Yeah.
description for that.
Yes.
They're
I like that.
when you
super
when you look
Americana.
them up on the Spotify's, sometimes when you look up a band, it pulls up like the playlists they're on, like featuring SUSTO. It says "Chill as Folk," "Folk Rock Faves," and "The Pulse of Americana" are playlists they all appear on. So
Just to like
to
put
give
'em-
you an idea of the flavor of
Exactly.
their tunes.
I'll also list some bands that they also listed on their personal website or Facebook page that if you like them, you'll probably like SUSTO. It's Blue Healer, which I'm also a fan of. I'm a fan of all of these bands, actually. Full disclosure.
Well,
I
it makes sense why you like these guys.
I have all of them on my Spotify. Blue Healer, The Lumineers, Future Birds, Langhorne Slim, The High Divers, Band of Horses, and Iron and Wine. If you like any of those bands, you are absolutely going to love
I maybe
SUSTO.
know like 3 of those bands.
Well,
but
Iron,
still.
there
Iron
you
and
go.
Wine fucks.
Like
Yeah,
I know Iron and Wine, I
is
know
fucking
Band
good.
of Horses, and there's one other in there I knew. but-
Lumineers.
Come
Well, yes, I know the
Lumineers.
Lumineers, so that would have been 3.
Yeah, so they actually are putting out a new album very, very soon, which they have released a few new singles off of. Their singles are Homeboy, which is now their most streamed
Ooh,
song on
that
Spotify.
song is real good.
That song fucks.
Homeboy fucks.
I'll talk about that song in a little bit. So they got Homeboy Está Bien, which is a song entirely sung in Spanish.
That one came on my shuffle today when I was listening to them while I was in the shower, and I was really confused for a hot sec because I forgot you had told me about this,
Yes.
and then I'm sitting there like shampooing my beard as I do, and I'm like, why is Spanish music on right now?
Don't
This is
question
weird.
it. Don't
I
question
didn't.
it,
I
Justin.
enjoyed it. I was just like, I was taken aback because wasn't expecting it.
Got into that flamenco.
And
fucking-
it's interesting because until I listened to like their entire discography, I thought their whole south of the border influence was new. It's not. They've been experimenting with the whole that south of the border sound for quite some time now, and it's really nice that he kind of threw that song in there. I thought it was really, really good. So Está Bien is one. If I Was, Weather Balloons, which is my personal favorite, and Last Century they just released just a few days ago. So I'm still kind of new to that single, so I won't talk about it too much. But for those of you who are interested, it's like half of their new album, and it's fucking incredible. Like I always do, I don't really write full descriptions or reviews of bands. I just kind of write little...
Meg's gonna get all wordy.
I get little sentences, little poetic sentences for the stuff that kind of brings to my mind when I listen to them. So I'll just, rattle off a few. Late Night Desert Drives, Long Cigarette Drags, The First Kiss with a Stranger in a Dark Bar After a Really Bad Breakup, Losing Your Best Friend, Mindless Grocery Shopping, Realizing You're in Love for the First Time, don't laugh, Humid August Twilight on the Back Porch Listening to Tree Frogs, and Tripping in Your Best Friend's Basement at 7 o'clock in the evening. That's what SUSTO sounds like, if
Okay.
that makes sense to anybody.
The mindless grocery shopping doesn't quite cut as close.
It's fine.
As-
You'll get it.
That said, I admittedly have only listened to that one single you told me to listen to.
It's fine.
That's okay, Grace. You literally just started this job as of a couple hours ago, so
It's
the bar's a little low for you now.
so I wrote a little blurbs about their new singles. So Mike, you've heard them, and Andrew, you've listened to them as well. So feel free to jump in whenever you feel so. I don't want to have to go on a whole Meg love SUSTO tangent, even though I probably will.
Mm-hmm.
So Está Bien is entirely in Spanish, like I said. Cotton candy skies and a sweet ocean breeze. That's kind of the whole vibe that you get. The perfect song to smoke with your best friends too, because it's all about, it's all good. You got your friends. We're happy. Some feel good late night rock that you can listen to drinking beer on the back porch. It's kind of one of those songs where it reminds you to fall back in love with life. Like everything's okay. Life isn't as hard as you think it's going to be. You're going to make it. Justin's usual gritty vocals complement this smooth southern rock song. It's almost entirely too nostalgic, and you could either get choked up singing along to this, or you could start smiling uncontrollably. There's no in between.
I gotta listen to this fucking song.
Está Bien is
Sold.
Está Bien is one of the most beautiful songs that SUSTO has ever produced, in my personal opinion. If I Was is a really nice song. I feel like it was a little more close to the whole regular SUSTO sound that they go for. It's contemplative and full of faith. One of those songs that makes you feel everything and nothing all at the same time. And it's inspiring, in which it makes you question who you are and also who you want to be. Like, what kind of mark do you want to leave on the world? Sort of thing. Homeboy, which is their most streamed song that Mike texted me about and was like, holy shit, Meg, SUSTO fucks. Because that's when you know that Mike really likes something, is when he says that it fucks. South of the Border meets Nirvana.
It's my approval rating.
Yes.
Does it fuck? Does it not fuck?
You either suck
or you fuck.
So,
We gotta get that
Homeboy.
as like a sticker with like Mike's face on it. Does it
Like,
suck or does it fuck?
It's like a speedometer. One side's suck, the other side's fuck.
But then
SUSTO is like past fuck.
Yes. It's
We've
SUSTO's
gone past
so
fuck.
fucking
SUSTO is like super fuck.
good. Okay.
Yo, so if anyone out there wants to make us some sweet suck or fuck sticker merch,
Sucker fuck.
please.
Fuck. Okay. It's both an experience and an exploration of the traditional SUSTO sound. It's more of a story, if nothing else. It's the first single that they released off of their new album, which is Ever Since I Lost My Mind, if I haven't said that yet. Mike's rubbing his belly. It's amazing.
He's bringing our show good vibes and luck.
Ever Since I Lost My Mind is the title of their new album that they're releasing, and I cannot fucking wait for the rest of it. So yeah, it's their first single, and it's basically just the steady electric current that's more of an experience versus just a song. So it kind of reminded me of Paul McCartney's songwriting style, where he likes to tell stories versus just sing something to you. Weather Balloons, which is my favorite, that was the second to last single that they released. It's heartbreaking, soul-searching. that harmonica fucks me up every single time. I don't know if it's Justin or somebody else in the band that does it, but holy fucking shit, I cannot get enough of his harmonica solos.
Harmonica's a great instrument.
One of the first times I listened to that song, me and Jake were driving in the car down Route 9, and it was raining and it was dark, and like all of a sudden like that song just hit, and like the harmonica came on, and like I experience chills when I listen to songs very often, and like this was one of those times where like I wanted to like get out of my skin because it was the most incredible thing I'd ever heard. Yeah, it hits you somewhere deep in your chest and like a place that you didn't really know that you had. And I don't know. That song just like hits me somewhere and I don't know where it is. And then the last song, which isn't one of their singles, but I was listening to it the other morning when I was getting ready for work, is Far Out Feeling. It's on the album before this. The reason I bring it up is because it's very Rolling Stones. Like they give me that vibe, you know, Gimme Shelter.
Mm-hmm.
That song, like I got a lot of Gimme Shelter vibes from Far Out Feeling, and I don't know if that's what he was going for, but that's what I got. So
we're gonna have to talk to him about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Justin, if you're listening before you come on the show, we're very excited. Meg is seeing Del Watergap also at Great Scott in Alston tomorrow night. So when I looked online on their own personal website, they basically describe themselves as A, background music for kissing, and B, romantic encounters and dimly lit rooms. So basically they describe themselves the exact fucking same way that I would describe them. S. Holden Jaffe, I think is how you pronounce it. Jaffe. I'll ask him tomorrow night.
It's Yaffe.
Hard he's from Brooklyn, New York. He started out this project pretty much by himself. It's alternative indie folk / acoustic music. Jaffe's on the vocals, guitar, mellotron, and percussion. I'm so sorry, Holden, if I'm mispronouncing your last name. I love you. Their first song that I heard, Let's Pretend, is kind of like a modern 50s bop. If you can kind of picture that in your mind, there's a lot of ooh la la la's in there. Ooh, la, 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 yeah, ooh, la, la, just like that. It's catchy but smooth. Rockman's Pier, which is one of my other favorite songs of theirs. I actually wrote a love poem to an ex-boyfriend to this song, which was his favorite poem that I ever wrote him. So shout out to Holden for being such an inspiration for that.
There you go.
It's soulful and honest, the trials of loving a broken soul. To go on kind of like I did with SUSTO and like one word fucking poetic bullshit. Tall evergreens and lilac skies. The kind of music you want to scream out your car windows at 3 a.m. driving around your favorite city. Mountain air, the lingering smell of a campfire, warm cups of sleepy time tea, rainy Sunday afternoons and mix-matched socks, getting drunk in the middle of the week on red wine, bubbling springs, whispering waves, and the sound of your favorite person's laugh. That's what Del Watergap's music sounds like and what it feels like.
I'm going to be honest, I haven't listened to them, but I will.
I
heard that one song you played earlier.
I
liked that.
I played Let's Pretend for you. That's actually the first song that I heard of theirs, which I also
that was good.
Found on my Discover Weekly.
So if the rest of their stuff is in that vein, I'm in.
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty sure when I turn on SUSTO radio, like Del Watergap comes through, Houndmouth comes through, Mount Joy comes through, to which we'll also probably have on the show.
So
soon.
Houndmouth is one of those bands, right? So they always, they're always coming up on the Head and the Heart radio, always, right?
Yep.
One of those bands I just can't. I've looked them up. I've tried to get into them because they.
It's okay. Houndmouth isn't for everybody. I know they have one album that I really fuck with. My sister actually showed them to me, and my sister and I do not have similar music tastes at all. But this bitch one day was like, "Hey, so I heard this song on Grey's Anatomy, and I thought you would like it."
The song on the Grey's Anatomy.
And I was like, "Okay, show it to me." And this was the first time my sister actually nailed my music taste. And it's what was it called?
It was the song with the instruments.
Yep, you're right.
And the notes and the bars.
While I'm looking this up, just so you know, Del Watergap is also coming out with a new album.
Hell yeah.
And they've been putting out new singles. I haven't had the time to listen to them yet because I've been working so much. Sedona, that's the song that my sister showed, is Sedona, which is so fucking good. Even if you don't like Houndmouth too much, you should check out that song because that's probably one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard.
Is it about the beautiful desert town of Sedona, Arizona?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
beautiful place.
It's a gorgeous song. It's a really nice chill song. It's great to listen to at night when you're kind of just chilling out and trying to vibe, like lo-fi music for studying, kind of that sort of bullshit. So yeah, I'll be seeing them tomorrow. We've been in talks. I've been talking to Holden on email and on Twitter for our actual podcast page. So they're going to be coming on the show soon. I'm going to meet with him tomorrow night after the show. Bless up for Holden for getting me in there, even though the fucking box office fucked up my order.
Blessings.
We're so excited to talk to Justin next week too. So it's going to be good. We've got a lot of good stuff going on. And I've been talking to Sam, who's the lead guitarist from Mount Joy. I got their information for their manager, so we're going to have them on probably within the next few months, too. I talk about them a lot as well. Mount Joy Fucks, they were on Jimmy Kimmel, which is huge, huge. That's another band, talking about how Ripe blew up over this past year. Mount Joy has blown up since me and Mike saw them back in September, and I could not be more fucking proud of that band.
That's awesome.
For killing it in the indie scene. Like
Really nice dudes, too. Really
Yeah.
nice dudes.
We only met Matt and Sam, which are Matt's the lead singer, and he writes a lot of the songs, and Sam also writes some of the songs too, and they're just two of the nicest, most down to earth guys that we have ever met, and they truly love their fans, and they're all about the music. And they wrote a song about their dog, and it's like the cutest thing ever. It's one of my favorite songs. So yeah, check them out too. I'll say it every fucking time. I'll plug Mount Joy any chance I get. So
Love it.
that's what we got going on.
Well, now that everyone is with us, I'd like to talk about Jimmy Neutron croissant posting. So this is
boy.
and this is something that I really as we may have mentioned in this episode, we did record our first episode of season 2 of Podcast in the Sky, and we got off on the wildest rabbit hole tangent ever that we've ever done in the history of this show.
I didn't. It was just you and Andrew.
It was just me and Andrew, just doing what we do.
Meg just sitting there, pretty literally with her head just in her hands, very, very upset at how we were just massacring her poor baby in front of her.
And so I scroll through social media when we're on our podcast rants,
As we do.
Meg shares a lot of memes on her personal Facebook account.
Shares a lot of memes.
I'm a big meme
She
girl.
has a big. She actually has a big following on Facebook because you share so much stuff that people have just decided to stay friends with you just for the amazing content that you share. So Meg is like a social media giant in the greater Framingham State University community. So so Meg it had shared something that I missed on my timeline, and I saw it when we were recording, and Meg was on one of her beautiful soliloquies about a band that we were talking about. I think it was Delwater Gap, which is funny because we were just talking about them. And I literally could not contain my laughter, and I turned my computer screen to Andrew, and it was for a Facebook group called Jimmy Neutron Croissant Posting, which Andrew and I are now devout members and appraisers of.
Oh, yeah.
And
this is my life.
And
It's your life now, babe.
and it is literally a group of people that post obscure Jimmy Neutron memes, and it's the funniest thing ever. And I saw a really funny Jimmy Neutron meme, and it was, do you know, Chris, because you weren't here, do you know when you go to New York City and there's those weird people that dress up in paper mache versions of, like,
the
children's
really
characters?
shitty costumes in
And
Times Square.
demand money from you?
Yes.
Yeah, you take a picture with them, and you think it's this great thing, and then they're like, give me $20, and then they'll follow you up the street until you've turned a corner and have lost them, like the scene out of The Italian Job.
Running away, terrified as you are.
And so there was a picture of 3 people dressed up in these, like, really, they looked like they were made out of paper mache versions of Jimmy Neutron, Sheen, and Carl from Jimmy Neutron. And I just started crying. It was very hot in here as it gets. Right now, just so everyone knows, mental picture, I'm wearing my work clothes, which is a button-up and nice slacks, right? I look
They are
very nice for work.
slacks.
I currently have the shirt unbuttoned, no undershirt, and I was just literally crying, laughing. I got Andrew going. Meg was so mad at us.
Yeah, she wasn't too happy.
And then we finally got over it. We got serious again, and then we started talking about the Baha Men, as one does towards the end of an episode. And Andrew looked up the Baha Men's Wikipedia page and went through their discography.
It was
And
incredible.
It was fucking incredible. Like the Baha Men did was it metal cover, not punk cover or something.
So they as of 2 years ago, I think, because I remember you asking me hey, have they done anything recently? I don't know. Let me see. I guess they released an album a little while ago, and then more recently, they themselves took part in a metal cover of Who Let the Dogs Out with like some metal band who I can't remember. But fact being, they did a metal cover of Who Let the Dogs Out.
And
It's
we
a-
watched the video
we
after
did.
we recorded this.
and it's
They were into it. They were
yeah,
like
they were
in.
there. Yeah, man, because that's like, when was
the
the last
biggest
time
thing that's happened to them since 2002.
Yeah, literally, like, yeah, because to give you guys the TLDR of their discography is it's literally like nothing, nothing, nothing. The album where fucking Who Let the Dogs Out came out and went fucking like multi-platinum.
Yep.
Their
And
next
then-
album was like certified gold or multi-gold, and then back to nothing.
And then they had 2 singles on Shrek 1 and Shrek 2 albums.
Yep.
Maybe Shrek 3 too.
Didn't
All of the Shreks. They just rule Shrek.
I think maybe prior to my introduction here, I might have been listening to one of the episodes, and I think you guys talked about how much the Shrek soundtrack fucks.
That was definitely
Maybe.
Mike.
It
Yeah, that
was,
was
so
definitely
it was
Mike.
my pick as the greatest movie soundtrack of all time. It is just fucking Aaron Carter's drug addict sister has
Oh
a song
my.
on one of the albums. It's fucking great. It's fucking awesome.
Speaking of Aaron Carter, I have a weird Aaron Carter related story that actually ties into the literal parking lot in front of this studio.
What?
What?
So, back when I was in
What?
college, I did security, and one of the stops on my security route was actually the building we record in, and I just had to, like, on the weekends when no one's here, make sure, like, the doors were locked. So, when I'm making my rounds, I noticed that there's, like, a car clearly broken down, and it's, like, snowing out, and there's, like, a woman outside calling, like, a tow truck driver on the phone, so I pull up and ask her if she's okay, what's going on. She says, like, oh, well, like, my gas tank actually literally came, like, disconnected from, like, my car, so it's, like, leaked gas, and, like, you know, that's why I'm standing out of it now in case something happens. And I'm like, oh, geez. So I'm like, well, if you want, you know, since it's cold out and something, I can wait here for you until, like, the tow truck comes at least, because I'd feel bad leaving anyone sitting in a fucking New England winter snowstorm waiting for a tow truck while their car is leaking gas, hopefully not getting ready to combust.
Ooh.
So we're talking, shooting the shit, and she is, like, friends with Aaron Carter and just like knows him and is just like, yeah, you know, I just like know him, you know, he's kind of like you're just like talking about him, just like, what? What?
How do you even get on that topic?
I don't fucking remember, dude. That was like 3 years ago.
It's probably one of her redeeming qualities.
I wish I didn't delete my Twitter, but he DM'd me on Twitter.
Yes, he did.
He did. I think we went over that in a previous
in our
episode.
boy
but
bands episode.
Yes, yeah,
Episode what, number 3?
He
Sure.
slid it. Aaron Carter slid into my DMs.
Ow, ow.
Oh.
He looks like shit too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Him and Macaulay Culkin took the biggest absolute nosedives.
Hey,
Macaulay Culkin's good
he's
now.
He's
He
on
came
the upswing.
back.
You know, he beat the addictions and shit. He was in that commercial on the Super Bowl.
Yes, he
He's
was.
around.
Yep.
He's doing
Also,
stuff.
Nick Carter's going on tour. I don't know if you know that the Backstreet Boys were up for a Grammy last night, but they were.
What?
Yeah, they were up for a Grammy
They did
last night.
something. Did they make a new album or
they
just
did a
back
new
on
they
tour?
did a new album and they're
Yeah.
really tight with the guys from Florida Georgia Line.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Which
so that's
is
cool.
a very accurate statement of the modern state of country music.
Also,
but I digress.
another side note, which is kind of, but not really related. Drake Bell is going to the Palladium in Worcester.
He is. We should go to that show.
I'm down.
And it's not the first time. He came to Bull Mansion in Worcester a few months ago too, and like people I went to high school with were losing their fucking mind.
I'm
all
down.
over
I would love
Facebook
to meet
about
him.
it.
That would
Yeah,
be
guys,
fucking
Drake
awesome.
Bell.
We
What?
could.
I'm gonna take a look at.
He's probably
Chris is getting ready. He's like checking
Well,
his
I-
schedule.
buying
I
tickets.
gotta know what a Drake Bell ticket runs you.
Yeah,
$20 easily.
My-
probably.
You want to take bets?
I'm gonna guess
35.
1875.
35.
You said.
What is this? The Price is Right?
$21.50.
I'm gonna say. All right, if we're gonna go general admission, are we all assuming general admission?
Well, all of
Yeah.
his shows are gonna
Yeah.
be GA.
You're
Yeah.
right. You're right. I'm an idiot.
It's not gonna be VIP premium VIP seating that comes with a poster, a laminate, a fucking one merch item, and his sign left nut.
And
Like-
he will. And he will.
One, if you pay enough money, you get to find out why him and Josh had a falling out.
They're still boys.
They
Uh,
talked about it.
Did they?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
they
I
made
actually
up.
made
I
it
don't
up.
They did like a public video when Josh was like, "I'm having a baby," and Drake was like, "Fuck, you're having a baby."
My before I search this, I'm gonna go with $29.50.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
I have the highest one.
I'm at the lowest. which is not a jab at Drake Bell, but I feel like the demand isn't there.
General admission, $33.
Fuck, I was the
shit.
closest.
Damn it.
Fuck.
That is
oh
like-
my god.
That is like
I'm
you
on the
know,
Price is Right.
That's
Well,
like
okay.
13
I
to
really-
15 more dollars than I would have ever thought.
I really feel like we could reach out to him via social media and get him to be on the show before the Palladium show. I guarantee.
Let's do it.
He is. I feel like he has fallen so far from grace. He would come on our little podcast.
Well,
Not-
not
not-
anymore
not-
now that we just said that.
No. Not even that. Not even that he's fallen far from grace. I think he's just a really fucking cool guy.
I think he's low hanging fruit enough. He would come on our podcast. I don't.
What are you
I'll
trying
call
to
him
say
out.
about our show, Mike?
I kind of want to fight with him because I feel like he's one of those guys.
Mike goes and buys a $35 Drake Bell ticket strictly to try to fight him.
I don't want to fight him. I just would like to have verbal banter with him.
That said, you know, there's a big market for fighting celebrities.
Mike, the celebrity hitman.
Any press is good press, and all I'm saying is that Mike looks like he's got a killer right, and I think he could
Mean
take
left
Drake
hook.
Bell out 2 punches.
I mean, that's
You just reminded me of that guy from fucking Reno 911, La Zapateria Ballerina, and he gets the fucking snakeskin boots, and he's like,
they were ostrich.
Drake Bell is
100%
so
is
sorry.
60% pure ostrich. 2 payments.
Two payments.
No,
Three
guys,
payments.
be nice to Drake Bell. He got really bullied
You know what?
on social
Okay, I'm
media
gonna-
not
that's
too long
fair.
ago.
I'm gonna say this right now, Drake Bell. I apologize.
He's
I-
iconic in our childhood.
I'm not even
really-
saying he has a glass jaw. Mike's just.
I
fucking-
really feel like he is a nice enough guy that he would be like, yeah, I'm kind of a mega celebrity, but I would come on your podcast to have verbal banter with you. I feel like I could get into some really good conversation
Yeah.
with Drake Bell in verbal banter.
Wow, I really want him to like sit next to me
What
so
do you
I can
think-
experience the full power of Drake Bell.
What do you think our topic would be? What do we
Shrek.
What?
No, I'm just kidding.
Can we ask him? Be like,
100% of it is going to be him talking about his experience on the Amanda show.
Yes.
well,
like,
I mean,
Everyone forgets
but-
that is how him and Josh got their break. They were
that's how
friends
Drake
with
and Josh.
Amanda
No,
Bynes.
well, yeah, it was like them and like the parents for Drake and Josh were also on the Amanda show. Like pretty much the whole cast of Drake and Josh was on the Amanda
yeah.
show,
Like,
and then the whole cast of iCarly was on Drake and Josh. It's like a weird like Russian nesting doll of Nickelodeon live action
I
shows.
loved the Amanda show. My
Bring out the
parents,
dancing lobsters.
my parents would like make me a little bowl of ice cream, and I
Tony
would sit
pajamas.
in the TV in front.
Hey, it's my
Hey,
Tony
Tony
pajamas.
pajamas.
I would talk to him about his experience as Tony Pajamas. Like that's
How do you feel Tony pajamas changed you as an individual?
Like,
I'd like. Now, how would you say Tony Pajamas shaped your future acting career?
like 10% of the episode would be about his actual music, and then the other 90% would be about his experience on TV.
His music is pretty good. Like he released some new
Makes me
music
happy?
like a year or two ago.
Do you remember "Makes Me Happy"?
Yeah.
It was his first single released, or maybe it's a great song.
Yeah. He writes
Makes
bops.
me
I think it would be
Mhm.
cool to like if we can ask like what's like a music thing you want to fucking nerd out about,
Yeah.
and then we can nerd out about music shit.
Mm.
Like
Nah,
you
we
know,
would fuck with Drake Bell so hard.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. We can try to give like, hey man, like what's a music thing you're passionate about, and then we can get him to just fucking pop off on music shit, and we can goad him into going down this music rabbit hole.
Well,
stuff
all
he's into.
all I'm saying right now, please stay tuned to see if we can actually get Drake Bell on our
the
show.
saga
That's-
fucking begins.
Mm.
One
We're
of
gonna have
my,
Meg reach out on Twitter.
We're gonna do what one of your friends does at John Mayer and just tweet at him every single fucking day until he comes on the show.
Yeah.
Day one of tweeting at Drake Bell until he comes on my podcast. Drake
Well,
Bell, please come
Just
on my
DM him.
pod.
Go straight for the DMs.
I'm going right now. Do you think he's on Twitter? Is he on Twitter?
He's got to be on.
Yeah,
Gotta be.
And then what we'll do?
Drake Bell.
But then, so here's the plan. You can do
There
that,
he is.
and then what we'll do is we will screenshot that and make it a meme of day one of messaging Drake Bell until he comes on my podcast. So
Yeah.
we have the meme marketing potential.
I feel really bad for saying he's like low hanging fruit. He has 2.9 million followers
Yeah,
on
because he's
Instagram.
a big boy.
He's Drake fucking Bell, dude. He was
I'm
influential.
going right for the jugular. I'm just gonna fucking say, hey, I want to fight you on my podcast.
Don't say that because then he won't come on our podcast.
He may.
I want to play Mike Tyson's Punch Out with you on my podcast.
We are off-brand game grumps. Come on and play video games with us.
I was going to say one of my favorite podcasts essentially threatened their way onto Trolls 2 or Trolls 3, was it? I don't remember.
Wait, was that my brother and me?
it was.
I
They
love
said
that
they
story.
said, "Hey, everybody, we're going to be on Trolls too. They don't know it yet, but we're gonna.
I just
And
tweeted
lo
at
and
him.
fucking behold, they're on
the
Trolls
fucking
too.
Macaulay brothers. That's what I was like.
McElroy.
McElroy. Well, I'm
The
fucking.
Macaulay Culkin brothers.
I am fucking killing it with the name game tonight.
Three good boys.
Those good boys.
When is he playing in Massachusetts? You get a date on that? I'm literally
I can pull
DMing
it
him
up.
right now.
Please don't actually
Um,
say I want to fight you. That will not.
No, I'm not. I would never do that.
Okay.
I would just tell him in person when he's here.
Just like I'm gonna fight you.
Sunday, February 24th.
So that's
Yeah.
like
So
13 days from now.
Literally,
Guess you
next
just
weekend.
tweeted at him though. I'll fucking stay home from Maine for this.
I'll add him on Facebook. I don't really.
I tweeted at him on
I
his
don't have a
Twitter page.
I don't use the Twitter.
I wonder if he has a.
The tweet.
I wonder if he has
Tweeter.
a Reddit account.
Probably.
February 24th.
Well, I mean, everyone knows
Yeah.
that Elon Musk has a secret Reddit account.
What's his real name, Andrew?
I don't do Drake Bell. I don't know.
No. Elon Musk.
Elongated muskrat.
Yes.
That's my favorite. People have aliases for Benedict Cumberbatch.
You mean Quetzalcoatl Lumbersnatch?
didn't
Yes,
know his real name.
that is my favorite one. Is Quetzalcoatl Lumbersnatch.
Elongated muskrat. My sister's nickname in childhood was Muskrat, so I'm
Well,
now gonna call her
she's
that.
apparently related to
Elon Musk.
tech giant / not so great guy Elon Musk.
Congratulations to my sister.
She's
Grimes,
big moves.
dating,
Big moves.
car building.
Is this where we want to end tonight, boys?
Yes, we're ending our show with a new co-host with the beginning saga of us adding Drake Bell.
So
I'm literally about to hit send on this message. to
send
Drake.
it.
Send
Full
it.
Send.
Well, do you want to?
Full
Do you want
send.
to read it first? Not for critique, just
Just
'cause.
fucking did it. Just
It's in there.
What'd you
it's
say?
done.
it's between me and Drake.
Yo, I didn't realize you and
We
Drake
have
were
a
that
special
close.
relationship now.
When I was on his Twitter, he retweeted something that Chris D'Elia tweeted, like, Drake is the fucking man. And it was, I mean, I don't think he meant Drake Bell, but also shout out to Chris D'Elia. I fucking love
I
you.
love Crystal.
I watched one of his Netflix specials that I haven't seen the other night, and
I
I
don't
was
know
like
who you're
in
talking
tears.
about.
I was dead center front row for his show at Hampton Beach last summer. Literally,
Fuck.
I was in the front row in the very middle seat, right on his microphone. Oh my god, the hardest I've ever laughed in my entire life.
He's so fucking. I mean, that's.
I
not
made his
music related.
Instagram.
Shut the fuck up!
I'm-
You were on Chris D'Elia's Instagram.
It's the only video he did last summer of the crowd because we were such a rambunctious crowd. He's like, I need to take a video of you guys.
We're from
and
New
he took a
England, of
video, and
course.
I'm in it 3 times in the
It's
video as
amazing.
he's panning across, and
I
I'm literally
am
sitting right there
not
screaming.
at all surprised.
I love Chris
It's-
D'Elia.
I could show you guys after.
So next time
Please
he comes,
do.
you're gonna come with me because nobody else likes Chris D'Elia as much
I've-
as me.
I've
Maybe
seen one of
aside
his
from you.
specials.
I would love Chris D'Elia to come
I
on
don't
our
know who he is.
podcast to do his Eminem impersonation.
Yeah.
Fucking.
My fucking god.
If you have not seen Chris D'Elia's Eminem impersonation, Eminem himself quote tweeted it and was like, "This is so funny. I actually thought it was me."
I was in tears. And
was-
you see his dog in the background, like, what the,
funniest thing
fuck?
ever.
As he's like pacing around his garage. I'm fucking Chris D'Elia, man. I love him and I fucking hate him at the same time because he's so funny.
The greatest thing of all time.
He makes me laugh so hard.
The only-
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to close out that really weird rant that we had at the end of our episode.
Yes.
Thank you for sticking around enough for season 2. Welcome to our new co-host, Christopher Cifello.
Thank you very much.
And we will see you all soon. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media
On
pages.
Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagrams,
the Podbean, the Apple, the
the Apples,
Spotify,
the Spotifys,
anywhere
the
you get your
YouTubes, Dig.
podcasts.
Dig.
We,
I'm
we will
fucking-
be there. And also, since we talked about them, make sure to follow the fuck out of Ripe, SUSTO, Magic Giant, Del Water Gap, Mount
Also,
Joy,
most importantly,
Drake Bell.
can all of our fans tweet and or Facebook message and or Instagram DM Drake Bell, like, please come on this random podcast.
That's not a dangerous thing to say yet.
Like, yeah, we just want, like, all of our fans that if you are somehow influenced by my voice and or all these other folks' voices, that is the one thing.
Listen to the sound of my voice.
I want you
You're
You're
becoming very
sitting-
slow.
to DM Drake Bell and tell him to come on our show.
Relax your shoulders.
Deep
Relax your
breaths in
arms.
and out.
Into your hands.
Bring your thumbs up to your phone and
Into
message,
your
message
fingertips.
Drake Bell. And be like, hey, come on, podcast in the sky with diamond.
Let the beautiful sound of the theme song to Drake and Josh run through your veins.
I found a way. If you
Let it consume you. Now pull out your cell phone and message Drake Bell on social media
Your thumbs will do it themselves.
and tell him
We're
to
And
come
tell
on
him
our
the-
show
Tell him the podcast in the sky.
at
with diamonds
podcast
and-
_sky.
We'll change the name if he comes on.
Will we?
Podcast in the Sky with Drake Bell.
For one
Podcast in the
episode,
sky with
it'll be
Drake Bell.
that'll be it for the one episode where it'll literally just be like a line through with diamonds, and then like in crayon it'll be like Drake Bell with like a backwards R.
We are hardcore Drake Bell fans.
Yes,
Drake
we
Bell,
love
please.
Drake Bell.
I'm in.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. Thanks for sticking with us. We'll see you next time.
Bye. It's Drake Bell.